word why. What a curious word. The kind of word that can make us cringe, feel defensive, or even distant. But you know, sometimes why is the key. The key that can unlock so much to our lives. Join me as we explore the why with fascinating contributors to the world. Those that entertain us, inform us, teach us about life, and if we're lucky, inspire the next in all of us. I'm your host, Dr. Rod Berger, and welcome to Headroom, a production of Rainlight and co-produced by Old Soul. Let's go. Looking forward to this conversation. I was just saying off air that I've been sort of dropped into this MMA boxing world, and I never thought that I would. And the appreciation that I now have, my own little personal slant here, is one that I did not think I would have experienced. And so I'm speaking now with Ali Abdelaziz. He is the founder and president of Dominance MMA Management. And Ali, we were saying off air, I got a chance to sort of see you in your element when I was interviewing Khabib in the octagon for Eagle FC a while back. And just to see people's reverence for you, the way in which they connected with your energy in the space. Talk about, let's work sort of our way backwards. Talk about your role as an ambassador in the MMA world, and maybe the sense of responsibility. I know that you talked about, and if you're willing to share, you know, Khabib just went into the Hall of Fame, right? And you talked about writing that, you know, the speech and wanting to do well by him, by someone that you consider like a brother that you look up to in that regard. You wanted to do that well. So talk about being an ambassador in the MMA world.
You know, you know, part of my success, you know, I figured out like recently, I love people because no way, you know, a manager can does the things I do, like help guys with cut or go running or go training with the guys, or just have my family to leave and have Khabib and his team here for 10 days and my family stay in a small apartment. And I think I'm just passionate about what I do and helping other human beings. And being a former, you know, mediocre fighter myself and competed at a high level in judo, and you know, I'm an athlete, I'm a competitor, you know, and I understand what these guys go through training camp, suffering, sacrificing, getting away from my family. And when you put this in an abundant, I just appreciate them so much. And I want to go on behalf to make sure I can do the best I can for them to make that life easier and give them a better life.
You know, I don't know if this resonates with you, but when I've interviewed people who have achieved a certain level of success, there can be a struggle. You get to be so either recognizable and or successful that you lose a sense of yourself. You sort of lose that appreciation that you're even in the world that you're in because you get the accolades. But I get the sense from you just in talking now that you still have such a deep appreciation for even being a part of sort of the MMA family. Have you had to, has that been a struggle? Because you are very well known in the space and you've had great success and people, they know your face, they know your name, right? But I don't get the sense that that's changed you in a way that has permanently changed you. Like you're still the same guy that really appreciates the world that you're in. Am I right on that?
I'm the same guy. Even my friend that know me 20 years ago, they said I never really changed, you know. Maybe I have a little nicer suit or a nicer shoes. Maybe I have nicer.
You do have good suits.
But in reality, like you know, fame and fame and money, they don't really change people. They really show you who they really are. If this person you say you are, it's gonna show because these things change you. But I think I like to believe I stay true to myself. I have certain rules I go by, and I feel guys like Frankie Edgar, you know, been with me for almost 15 years. He's now not on a winning streak, but he still is my brother. I still talk with him often. I still speak with him. Enzo Gracie, a guy who gave me an opportunity since day one. It's just a relationship with me. When people become stronger, it does not become weaker. And 6 day success, how successful they are. It doesn't matter if they're successful or not. Of course, guys like Kamaru Usman I need more time with him because he's a pound for pound best fighter in the world today, right? I will give them more of my time because my obligation to him got bigger, right? But the way I feel about the people who give me an opportunity, because without these people, I'm nothing, And I always say, I'm a servant of many masters. I got so many masters I have to serve, and sometimes kill me. But I feel I never want to make somebody feel he lost a couple of fights. I don't care about him, or I'm not talking to him anymore, or because maybe he's a small guy. I pay attention to the little guys, who's coming up, and I'm just, to be honest, I'm grateful. I can never dream to do this job. I can never dream to have a good house or to have a beautiful family or to live the life I live, and I don't take it for granted.
Let's talk about the role of management and ambassadorship, maybe. I think let's say the American public, when they think of boxing, they think of the Don Kings of the world, right? Sort of bigger than life in that manner, right? Sort of just in your face, so vocal, and whether you like it or not, you're going to hear from Don King. Like that's sort of like in the pantheon of American boxing and fighting. You've got these personalities that feel a little bit larger than life. How is it different in MMA? Because I saw you interacting with people, and in my head, I thought a little bit, about like a Don King. You're not a Don King. I didn't get that sense at all. But where are you? What's the reality, and what's sort of fiction?
I'm gonna tell you a story. I met Mike Tyson like 6-7 years ago, and he was very standoffish with me, And after that, we get to know each other. We become a very personal friend to me. We talk all the time, we text. And he told me, man, you changed my mind about management. I thought all management's scumbags, they guzzlers, they rob people. And when I get to know you, I feel it's different. So I come from the world of boxing. All the management promoters, they're just bad people, listen, a lot of people try to compare me to Don King. I don't think I'm Don King. I think I just can't do the things he did to Mike. I just don't think me as a human being, I can do this to anybody on any level, right? And I just think, honestly, me being a competitor or being an athlete, me being poor, make me appreciate. I'm an absolute savage when it comes to business.
You're an absolute savage when it comes to business.
But I'm talking about, if you on my team, I'm going to be savage for you.
Yeah.
But if you're not on my team, I'll be savage against you. When my guys fight fighters, they become my enemy immediately. I don't like their photos. I don't follow them. My mind changed. My mind thinks like a fighter. Now
you think like a fighter.
Because in a way, can you imagine I manage somebody and I follow guys he fights and I like his photo, right? But my mind changed. I'd be like, now he's the enemy. And after the fight, everything, long as it's respectful, cordial, everything is okay. But it will come with someone like Conor. I was never going to be okay with this guy. I'm never going to be okay because this guy, he's everything wrong about being a fighter. He's everything wrong about being a good human being. He just did not, Conor McGregor did not represent martial art. He represents a little bit of boxing, a little bit of fame, he was at one point a decent fighter, but right now, just if you ask his people, who would you respect, Kamaru Usman or Khabib or Conor, right? They say no, of course. They like the flash and the swag and what Conor brings, but as a human being, would you let Conor go on a date with your daughter, right? Absolutely gonna say no. Would you let Kamaru Usman go on a date with your daughter? He said he's a great man. Yes, I will let him, right? But in a way, I love the sport. I respect every fighter who stepped into the cage, as a competitor, right? Some guys outside the cage, they're not, that's why when we talk about Khabib, George St. Pierre, Kamaru Usman, these guys are real, true Hall of Fame, because in reality, they've been good and inside and outside, and I'm grateful to be part of this.
Let's talk about MMA and where the American public is in its acceptance, its celebration of MMA. Because, back when ESPN jumped on board with UFC, there were a lot of questions, right? But now it's commonplace, and now we've got Eagle FC. Like, where are we in the growth or the trajectory of MMA in the overall acceptance, the celebration, right, the fandom of MMA fighters in the US?
Listen, when you have the UFC or PFL and ESPN owned by Disney, everything is okay, because Disney do not touch anything. Disney is the gold standard for accepting in the US, in the world, worldwide. If you own Disney, you made it. You become the fastest growing sport in the world. You won biggest sport in the world. Disney is the gold standard of sports, right? ESPN, and you got guys like Dana White, who's been working to build the sport since day one. And I don't think he get enough credit, and I think he get a lot of criticism. But without him, would not be here. A lot of other great promoters like Scott Coker, like Khabib now is a promoter, many other promoters, and I do appreciate every promoter. A lot of people, they want to hate a promoter, right? But without the promoter, it was no money for these fighters, right? And that's why people always forget how grateful you can be, right? Of course, the fighter always want to make millions of dollars. The promoter want to pay you the least much money he can. But it's up to the manager to really negotiate for your athlete and get whatever you think he deserves, right? But listen, it's never enough. Everybody want more on the both sides. This world is never going to be like, I'm happy. Only guy who was happy was Khabib, but Khabib never complained about money. It was very strange, but he was getting paid. He was getting paid, big penny. But he deserved every penny he ever got. I think he deserved way more. And I think about him, it was not just about the money; it was about the mission, about the accomplishment. And I see guys like Kamaru Usman now; he's following the same footstep. Great guy, great father. And you're going to see Islam Makhachev in the same way. Many great guys in the sport. Guys like Beneil Dariush, who's an angel. And some of the coaches too. Some of the coaches, they don't get enough credit. I think they are a huge part of the sport also. I know I spoke to a lot of medias and stuff like that, and people think I am behind the scene. I do everything, but in reality, if I don't have good coaches around me, I am nothing.
Headroom is produced by Old Soul, a one-stop marketing agency that understands the power of brand and nuance. Reach out to my guy Matt at Old Soul and supercharge your brand and content strategy. That's Old Soul. Shoot Matt a note at aoldsoul.com. That's AOLDSOUL.com. And now, back to our guest. Yeah, it's definitely your part. It is a collaborative effort. Do you mind sharing with me? We heard some music in the background. Was that prayer? What were we listening to?
That was the Zohar prayer for the midday prayer. Yes.
Yeah, I thought that's what I heard. I just wanted to clarify that. It's an honor just to be a part. So I appreciate. I know it's your home and shared space in that regard. Let's talk about. You said being a savage in business. So do you consider, Ali, yourself an entrepreneur first or a manager first? Where does being an entrepreneur fit in your life?
I have my first job. I was 8 years old.
Your first job at 8.
I was been working. I think I'm a very competitor. I think I like to work. I think I like to win, and I think I like to win when everybody wins. It's very big difference in this business. Everybody want to take, and they never want to get back. I like to win when everybody wins. I like to win when I make a deal, everybody happy. And this is what's the difference between me and any other management. Everybody, some of these guys are really good too, not only me in the space. I just, when I make a deal, I make sure everybody's happy. Fighter is happy, the promoter is happy. Because when you do a deal, one person is not happy, it's going to last for so long and it's going to go bad. But I think I don't want to call myself anything because I think I prefer people to call me what they think. You know what I'm saying? I'm just a poor kid. Come here to the United States was a dream. It was $97 in his pocket.
$97 in your pocket.
I was 17 years old. I cannot speak one word of English. I lived in the street for a couple of days in New Jersey. I didn't have a place to go to. And after that, I lived in a pizzeria store in the winter, middle in the winter. And after that, I got some little bit of money together, and I went. My goal was to go to the Olympic Training Center in Colorado Springs and live there and train. But I've been working since I got here. I've been working. I've been training 2 or 3 jobs. I've been working since day one. I come from a very poor family, very underprivileged. I was a national champion in judo. I won many international tournaments. But judo is a rich sport in Egypt. Poor people don't, but I find a way, and I become a champion in judo. And that's why I come to the Olympic Training Center in Colorado Springs, Colorado, and I was invited to train with the U.S. Olympic team. I'm grateful for them, all of them, Coach Eddie Lady, because guys like me that shouldn't be living and training there because I'm from different countries, and I went through a lot of struggle, up and down, especially after the 9/11. It was a very hard time for me. But at the end of the day, America is the greatest country on the planet because you can dream here. You cannot dream in Egypt or Nigeria or some of these places. The dream does not exist. And this is why, the American dream, it's something special. I get to meet the President of the United States, on a couple of occasions. I was shocked. I was like, I never in Egypt met a police officer, you know what I'm saying? And I'm here because the hard work and everything I did, I got introduced to the President of the United States by Dana White and my friend Richard Darnell. And that was the highlight of my career, because, being in the Middle East and, you get called names on the internet, whatever McGregor say about me, and people call you like a terrorist and this. And after that, I get to show the world, I'm an okay human being. I get to meet the President of the United States, and he shouted my name and thanked me on national television. That was not for me. That was for my kids. For my kids to see, your daddy was an okay guy. It was not the guy other people try to talk about. Because, when you're successful, people try to put you down. And I never believed in that. But I never know I can be successful. And of course, I'm not saying I'm the most successful guy in the world, but whatever I do, I believe I do a very good job. I believe I do a job because my passion is different than everybody else.
I'm so glad that you brought up the American dream piece. And I love the story about being with the president. And in that moment, you're not Ali, the famous manager, right, in MMA and a national champion in judo. You're dad, which is just such a cool.
It's the most important thing to me in life, to be a good dad.
Yeah. I asked Khabib, and you touched on it. I asked him if he felt like the American dream was still alive, because we're so divisive right now, right? It's sort of, you have to pick a side, it feels very much. And I'm wondering, not just is the American dream alive, but from an immigrant perspective, how do you think about it in that way? Because you're on this side of it, right? You've achieved it in this country. You've achieved a level of success where, yes, there might be hateful speech from a Conor McGregor who's just doing it so his Instagram goes up, that kind of a thing. But if it's a new immigrant coming to the U.S., what's your thought about the American dream for the young Ali that's now in the U.S. in 2022?
Listen, when I come to this country, everybody in Egypt, they thought when you land in the airport, people are going to give you a bag and you're going to collect money from the ground. And I never thought this way because I never believed something should be handed to you. And I think it's opportunity to work. It's opportunity. You can be anything you want to be. This is why this is the greatest country on the planet. I lived here in this country more than I lived in Egypt. It's not like I don't like Egypt. I like Egypt. I like, I have family there. My father's there, but in a way, it's not fair. It's not fair there. Here, it's up to you. You can make it fair or not. You understand? And everybody who's on the street begging for money or some people have mental illness, I understand. Some people, they can't work. But if you do not make it in America, it's on you. You know what I'm saying? It's an American dream. Everybody can buy a house and have a car and have a family. It's very easy. But all you have to do is just work and be true to yourself.
Where does education fit into your world? And maybe I'm asking you as a dad, but how do you think about education basically fueling the opportunities to make the decisions, make the rules? Like, where are you when you think about your education as a young person in Egypt, your maybe on-the-job training or education here in the U.S., like when you land in New Jersey, and how you think about it for your kids?
Listen, I was out of high school when I went to Egypt. I finished 1 year in college. Doctor in Egypt make $100 a month. It's education in Egypt doesn't really matter. What's matter? Who your father is, how much you have, who you know. That's what. And here my kids. I have a great wife who really big on education, and I feel education always you should have back in your back pocket. I went to community college here. I didn't learn anything in college. It doesn't help me with anything. Maybe help me read a little bit better or write a little bit better. But for me, I didn't think college was going to help me. But maybe for my kids, it will help them, and it's very important, I think, to have an education. Because because everybody doesn't move maybe the way I move or have street smart or can just fight his way through life. Some people they made to work 9 to 5. This is who they are. If everybody's an entrepreneur in the world will not survive. And I'm not saying I'm an entrepreneur. If you view me this way, I'm gonna say thank you. But I think I'm just I open every door people said I cannot open. I conquered every dream people said I cannot do. And I was being told since day one, you cannot do it. You cannot do it. You cannot do it. And just being an African man who's Muslim living in America, to be a manager alone, all these guys have law degrees. All these guys, have education. I don't. But one of the things I do, I understand. I've been on the mat. I've been in the ring, and I understand the art of war. I understand the art of war in fighting and outside fighting. And I think life, it's about the art of war, and I understand that very well. If go back in the days we live in Achilles or something like that, I think I would have been a great warrior too, because I understand his discipline. A lot of people, I have discipline. And a lot of people, they take it for granted. I understand. I always remember I was this kid sleeping with 8 children in one room on the floor. A lot of these people I always remind myself that. And that's why I think what takes me so far in life, discipline and honesty. Honesty in business. I don't lie in business. I don't lie in business. I can never say anybody in this business that I lie to them about anything. And just not because I'm such a great guy, it's a code. I'm a man.
It's a code.
I think real men, only coward can cheat through with business. And I believe in Allah. I believe in God. And I think I'm not perfect by any means, but I believe every time I will feed my kid, it has to be good money, not through cheating or lying.
Do you miss the ring?
You know what, man? I have like 3 back surgeries, but normally every training session with Khabib, I was with him, sparring with him, training with him. With all my guys I trained. That's just, I understand I'm 44 years old. I can't do what these guys do, but I'm a very competitive man. Like if I put on the boxing gloves, I was spar with Khabib. He punch me, I'll punch him, I'll kick him. Of course, I can't compete with Kamaru Usman, but I'll give him my best. I'll give him my best. I have no problem sparring with Francis Ngannou at all. And I did spar with Francis Ngannou. I just, it's a different feeling. It's better than all the money in the world. It's better than every nice suit or every nice car. Just to be inside that and the mat with this guy's sweat, it's a form of respect.
It's a shared brotherhood. That was the one thing when I was at Eagle FC, in the audience, in the crowd, I was absolutely struck by the brotherhood. The first fight had to be called, and the fighter that lost went to his knees, Ali. And I don't know if you had been in the arena at that point, but he started to weep. He was crying, and his competitor came right over to him and put his arm around him. And I just thought, man, the brotherhood is so strong. You have to be in person to see that, to feel it.
Respect. It's respect. It's martial art. Sometimes it go like that. Sometimes you're going to have the Khabib one come opposite. You have Khabib jumping out of the cage. It depends how, most of the time, 90% of the time, guys are really good. MMA is not like boxing. Boxing is different. Like, it's come from bad neighborhoods, or they try to fight their way out of the hood. A lot of these MMA guys, they're very smart. They have college education. They wrestled in college. Khabib probably one of the most intelligent people I ever met. It's mind-boggling. You guys have guys like Kamaru Usman, Kayla Harrison. She's a two-time Olympian, a world champion, and she became an MMA champion, two-time PFL champion. You meet a lot of great people in the sport, a lot of good people. Few bad apple, but doesn't.
That's life, right?
It's happened, But at the end of the day, you can fake it for so long, and after so many years, people are gonna know who you really are.
Well, I get the sense that you don't fake it, that you're incredibly honest, probably to a fault in that regard. Some might say. Let me ask you. You speak your mind. Let's close with this, Ali. Your story, the story of you. Is it a story of an immigrant overcoming great odds? Is it the story of a man? Is it the story of a fighter? What resonates with you? What do you connect with more?
I was a story of a unprivileged kid, come to this country and given an opportunity, and it's been up and down. My story is a very big story. Like, I can't get to it. We need like 10 days to finish my stories, because a lot of things in my stories that I will never discuss, and some of the stuff I discussed it. I've been through a lot. But it was a test from God. I get tested all the time. If you're not tested, what I believe, if you don't get tested in life, it's gonna end very bad for you. We all be tested, and I think I was given an opportunity to come into this beautiful country. I was given a dream. It would been up and down, and I made the best out of it. And now I believe I won. I have four beautiful children. I have an amazing wife. I have an amazing loyal friends who is my fighters, they're my brothers, and you can ask about anybody. This Ali who literally died for his fighter in so many different ways, and I will, and I'm just grateful to be in this beautiful country, living my American dream. The American dream is real. You can dream here. You cannot dream anywhere else.
Well, this has been an incredible honor and a privilege to be able to spend time with you in your home and to share, some of your stories. So I just want to thank you, Ali, for being open and transparent about it, because I think it lets us into the MMA world, just like I had the experience at Eagle FC, that the brotherhood, the compassion, the respect, to your point, is alive and well. And I think we need more stories like that.
Thank you, brother. Thank you.
Thanks for taking the plunge into Headroom, where we uncover the why behind the what and who impacting our lives. Headroom is a production of Rainlight and co-produced by our friends at Old Soul. I'm your host, Dr. Rod Berger, and this is Headroom.